Hello everyone, this is Monica again, and like I promised in my last video, I wanted to make a video this time to talk about the steps that I took to heal myself from hyperthyroidism in more detail. I'm going to be making this a three-part video series. There's the physical, which is changing your diet and so forth. Then there's the mental and emotional, which I am putting together. And then finally, there's the spiritual. So in this video today, I'm going to discuss the physical. Before I start anything though, before I share anything, I want to make it very clear that I am not a doctor. I am sharing this from my own experience. I am not responsible for your health or any of the advice that you take from me. So be super mindful of what you take and only use what resonates with you. You are fully responsible for your health, for your body, and for your healing. So for those of you who have not seen my previous videos, I want to recap a little bit about what happened that caused me to have hyperthyroidism. In 2010, I was in a car accident. And after that car accident, my health went downhill. I was constantly going to specialists and also going to the hospital because nobody could figure out what was going on. But I knew something was wrong because the way that my body was functioning was changing. It was completely different. It wasn't until after my fourth hospital visit that they found out that they did a thyroid test and they found out that I had hyperthyroidism. And after that, I was advised to go see a doctor that focuses on the thyroid immediately. So I want to share with you guys some of the symptoms that I experienced because these may be similar symptoms that you might want to get looked at. So some of the symptoms were I was always hungry. Even though I ate, I was always hungry. I lost a lot of weight. I went from weighing 125 pounds to 102 pounds within a period of 2 weeks. I had trembling hands, which basically means like if you put your hands straight, they shake. They can't stay still. I started losing my hair. And like it's normal for people to lose hair, a little bit of hair, but I started losing a lot of hair. So that was another symptom. I also had trouble swallowing liquids and eating food. I couldn't swallow anything. I had heart palpitations, which basically means that you feel like your heart is palpitating too strong and you can feel it. And I also had trouble sleeping and I had anxiety attacks. Before I move forward on with anything else, I want to explain what the thyroid is. The thyroid is the motherboard. If you compare it to a computer, it's the motherboard to your body. It controls your metabolism and your hormones, which is why it's commonly an issue for women because of the hormones. And it's located in your neck, right here, below the Adam's apple, and it looks like a butterfly. It also regulates the growth and function of many other systems in your body, which is why it's so important to have a healthy thyroid. Some of the biggest factors that can screw up your thyroid basically are nutrition and stress. Those two are the big ones. Another factor is your intake of iodine. And in the US, iodine is found in salt. It is added to salt. Iodine is an essential element that enables your thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormones like T3 and T4, which are needed for a healthy metabolism. Too much iodine or too little bit of iodine can cause thyroid problems. I want to share a little bit about my diagnosis from a medical perspective and the tests that I had to take in order to see where my thyroid was and how it was developing and how it was healing. The first test that I got was a blood test where you're able to see if your thyroid is functioning properly. The next test that I took was an ultrasound, which basically is an ultrasound that they put on your neck to see if you have any nodules. Nodules are formed from the intake of iodine. The next test that they did was a fine needle aspiration, which was guided by an ultrasound, which basically means that they went onto my thyroid where the nodules were located, where they were found, and they used a needle to see if my nodules were hard or liquid. And this is really important because if the nodules are hard, it can cause cancer. So it's really important that you take this test if you do have nodules, because it will guide your thyroid doctor where she needs to go as far as what kind of treatment you need. It's a needle that they put in your thyroid, and mine was liquid, so they took out the liquid stuff that was in there. And then also in there, they find to see if there's any cells, any blood cells on there, because that could eventually become into cancer. So this is why it's really important to do this test. And the last test I got done, and which was the test that proved that I was healed from this, was a thyroid scan with low dose of radioactive iodine to see if the nodules were hot or cold. Again, it's important to see if the nodules are hot or cold, because again, if the nodules are cold, it can be cancerous. If they're hot, it's not. You just have to manage them. An important factor that helped me with healing my thyroid physically was the fact that I wasn't just working with a thyroid doctor, I was actually seeing a nutritionist on the side. Having those two working for me really helped, because as I was changing my diet, I was also seeing through test results how my health was getting better. And that's how I was able to prove that for me that you can heal yourself through nutrition. What inspired me to become aware of this was a dream that I had before any of this happened, where I was told that I could heal myself from this. And one day I was going to my thyroid doctor, and I was leaving the appointment that I had, and I was so frustrated because I was thinking of the idea of getting poked at every 3 months. I'm a thin person. I have thin veins. So for me, when I get blood tests, it hurts. It's not a pleasing experience. And actually, it bruises my arms for several weeks. So for me to think about it being, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life in order to make sure that I'm healthy, that wasn't an option for me. And that's when I was guided to understand, like I heard this voice say to me, why are you letting a doctor decide what you should do with your body? It's yours, not hers. And it was true, like, it's my body. Yes, she has skills that she knows about as far as health, but it is my body. I get to choose what goes in it. Nobody else does. That was the last straw for me, and what helped me to push me to take the next step to find another solution aside from the medical perspective to help heal from this. And that's when I decided to go see a nutritionist. I have everything typed just so you know, because it's long. Okay, so the thing that helped for me was the fact that before the car accident, I was already learning about nutrition. I was learning about Max Gerson, who is a doctor from Germany, and he came to the US to prove that he was able to heal his patients, several of his patients, from cancer. In the US, there's a monopoly in the pharmaceutical industry where they don't really want you to know that cancer is curable, because if they did, the industry wouldn't exist. I'm not gonna go too much into that because it's a whole separate video. So you guys are gonna have to do your own research if you really wanna learn more about that. With Max Gerson coming to the US and showing his cases, the US completely ignored him and just called him a fraud. So if you go and look him up right now, you'll actually see information where it says that he's a fraud, that he's not legit or whatever. But he still has a clinic in Mexico where people still go to heal themselves, and there's actual positive results from this. I learned a lot from it, and I used it in my own healing. So this was really, really important for me. So what I learned from Max Gerson and from working with my nutritionist is that food is the real medicine for our bodies. It is not pills, it is not any other stuff, it's food. That is the #1 medicine that will define our health. What I'm about to share with you guys right now, if you do decide to do this, you do it in moderation. Anything that it goes into extreme is a shock for the body. And I did this in moderation too. I started with something, like I started with changing my diet in one way, and then until I felt my body was completely used to it, I added something else little by little. So just take what I'm saying and use it in a gentle way. The most important tip that I can give you guys in healing your thyroid is to eliminate all processed foods, period. Processed foods include soda, junk food, large intakes of sugar, alcohol, coffee, fast foods, and some frozen foods. And there's other ones, but those are the main ones. Processed foods have zero nutrition. They don't do anything for your body. They actually make your body get more toxins in it than it actually helps it. For example, did you know that it is not common for humans to smell, to have a foul smell, like to have stinky smell? It's actually not normal for us to do that. We actually naturally have a sweet smell. The reason we smell is because of all the processed foods we put in our body. That's all them. So if you ever want to try it, stop eating all processed foods and just eat raw foods, and you'll see that you'll smell the difference. The next thing too is, did you know that for women, it is actually not common for them to have painful periods? That's all because of the processed foods that they eat. And also because of the stress, including stress. But it's actually not common for us to have painful periods. And ever since I changed my diet, I don't have painful periods. And if I do, it's because I know that I ate something that wasn't healthy for me. So it's my body talking to me and telling me to stop eating those things. The best kinds of foods to eat are fruit, veggies, greens, beans, eggs, stuff like that. Healthy things that they actually give you nutrition instead of taking away. Which means that you're gonna have to start making your own meals. There's no good way of going around this. You're gonna have to start making your own meals and start replacing junk food with more healthier options. And I would suggest that you see it as a replacement, not as something that somebody's taking away from you, because that's what it is. So for example, if you want to eat potato chips, if you have a craving for potato chips, instead of eating potato chips, go boil some potatoes, some real potatoes, put some seasoning on it and eat it. That's how you replace it. Look at it from that perspective. Tip number 2 is to drink raw juices. Raw juices are so important for your body. They have all the natural elements that you could find in any other kind of food, and they're cheap compared to buying meat and a bunch of processed foods that have all this packaging. You actually pay more money for packaging than you actually pay for the food, which makes you kind of think. Raw juices are super healthy also because when you eat meats or other kinds of foods, it takes a lot of energy for your body to be able to process those. When you're drinking raw juices, everything's already mixed and blended, and you just drink it, and it goes straight to where your body needs the nutrients. So that means that your body's using less energy and using more energy to heal your thyroid, which is a better balance for yourself. Here are some ideas as far as to kind of what you could do as far as raw juices. You could blend greens, which I like to use spinach because I like spinach a lot. So just find a green that you like. And I mix it with fruits. And then I add a sugar on it to make it sweet. I add stevia because stevia is a lot healthier for my body. But you're welcome to use anything else. Just use it. If you use regular sugar though, use it in moderation because that sugar is not necessarily the healthiest. Like the sugar that you buy at the store is not necessarily the healthiest. So try to find an alternative if you can. And I also add protein powder. I use hemp powder because hemp has one of the highest proteins in most foods, and it's natural. You can still replace all the other stuff like meat and everything else through raw juices. And I suggest that you drink it 3 times a day. Drink it as part of your meal. And eventually it'll get to the point where like you need to have that in order to stay healthy, in order for you to feel full. Like I've gone through a process where like I try to eat other kinds of foods, and I still keep being hungry and hungry and hungry, and then I drink my juice and that's all I need, along with the meal that I'm eating. Tip number 3 is to remove all soy from your body, from your food, from anything. Remove it completely because soy is super toxic to the body. It is not healthy for you, and it actually makes your thyroid become more unfunctional. So some of the foods that have soy in it are actually processed foods. If you ever go to a store, make sure you read the ingredients in the back, and you'll see that most of the foods have soy in them, which is completely toxic. Even for vegetarians, the tofu has a lot of soy, and it can also harm your thyroid as well. So always be mindful of the products you buy, especially if you're going to heal yourself from this. If you're going to work to do this, you need to be mindful of the things you put in your body. Tip number 4 is to cleanse your liver. Your liver helps you detox your body. If you've been eating a lot of junk food and processed foods and soy, you most likely have a pretty toxic liver. So it's time to cleanse it. You need to do that in order for your body to use the energy it needs to cleanse your thyroid and allow your liver to just get rid of that junk. Some of the ways that you could do this is to reduce your intake of meat. I'm not asking you guys to be vegetarian, although if you can, that would be preferred. Although if you do that, make sure that it's in moderation, start off slowly, and then remove stuff a little bit at a time. Don't go to an extreme because it will be shocking for your body and you can get very sick. If you wanted to become vegetarian, you still need to have protein. You can't live without protein. So do your research of what kinds of foods that are vegetarian have lots of protein to replace it. In the beginning, you most likely will be hungry a lot because your body is getting used to the change of when you used to eat meat, which had a lot of protein, to veggies and that kind of stuff, which has protein, but it's not as an extreme as meat. So you might have to eat a bit more until your body gets adjusted. But there are foods out there that do have a lot of protein, and again, like I said before, I use protein powder in my foods, which helps a lot. So you just have to do your research and become knowledgeable of what you're putting in your body and what you need and what those foods are that you can use to replace other things that were toxic that weren't helping your body. If you're not willing to do that and you know that that's not what your body needs, remove red meats completely and pork. Only eat fish and chicken. And if you can, try to buy organic, because organic has less toxins and that's what you want. What you also want to do is to do liver cleanse. There's different kinds of liver cleanses you can find out there. I know that my body needs a gentle one, so I found one that was gentle for me, and I do it like a few times a year. Now I just drink teas that help to cleanse the liver, which is easier because it's gentle. So do something, find a product that you can use that will help you cleanse your liver. There's also natural ways of doing it, but you need to do this in order for your body to function properly. Also, again, drinking raw juices will help us as a natural way of detoxing your body because it has natural elements that help to cleanse your body, and it's healthier than any other kinds of foods. So just look at everything that I've shared so far is remove processed foods, drink raw juices, remove soy. And all those things, I'm basically saying you have to stop eating processed foods, period. If you look at it, and replace it with a healthier alternative, which is raw food. Or you can cook the food, that's fine. But what I'm saying is basically eat a lot of veggies and fruits and beans and that kind of stuff. That's what you want. That's what your body needs. Tip number 5 is to remove or balance your intake of iodine, which is found in the US. It's found in salt. Any extremes where you take too much or too little can cause thyroid imbalances. So you have to be super mindful of how much you're taking in. For me, I was taking in too much. And iodine, since it's found in salt, most products that are sold in the stores have sodium, which is another word for salt. So that meant that for me, I had to watch my intake of salt. I had to look again at the ingredients that I was buying and see which products had too much salt, and if they had too much, I wouldn't buy them. I would find another alternative or find something else that had less. So it's really important that you do watch your intake of salt, especially too because too much salt can actually harm your liver. And like I was mentioning before, your liver is super important in removing all toxins from your body when you're putting toxins in through food or when you get sick. And you need to have a healthy liver in order to have a healthy body. And one of the things that I want to share is that everything is connected to each other in your body. Everything is connected. So if you have a thyroid problem and you decide to cleanse your liver, cleansing your liver is actually going to help your thyroid because they're functioning together. They work together. So look at your body as a whole instead of it being separate parts. Step number 6 is, and the final step that what I did to heal myself from this is to eliminate all chemicals from my body. All of them. Many people don't realize this, but the products that you actually put on your body do get absorbed by your body and they go into your organs, which is important to be mindful of the products you put on your body. For example, any hair products, any dyes, any shampoos or anything like that. Makeup, especially makeup, you want to be mindful of the of what you're putting on there. So if you are using these, make sure that you buy them organic. Especially with makeup, makeup is actually not regulated by anybody. They can put whatever they want in there and you put it in your body and it's toxic. So you have to be mindful of the things you put, again, in your body. Our body is like a sponge and it will absorb everything. That's what pores do. They absorb everything. So if you're wondering when you have acne or any of that stuff, you might want to look at the products you're using. I highly suggest that you remove all of this stuff while you're healing yourself from this. Eventually, when you're in a better state and your thyroid is balanced again, you can bring some things back in moderation, but there's particular products that you want to stay away from. And some of those are dyes, so like hair dyes, those are super toxic for your body and actually go into your brain, which is pretty scary. And other ones are makeup. If you're gonna buy makeup, please make sure to buy it organic as much as you can. I know it can be a little bit expensive, but it's worth it. Your health is worth it. Those are the 6 steps that I have to share with you guys as far as healing your body from the physical level. If you really want to heal yourself from this, I highly suggest that you take some of my advice and try some of the tips that I shared with you. Again, you're responsible for your body. I am not responsible for it. So whatever you take and use from this, that is your choice. And you're responsible for what happens. But I can tell you from my experience that these things that I used helped me, and they helped me get to where I'm at right now, which is at a point where my thyroid is healthy and balanced, and I don't have issues anymore like I did. I don't have all those issues that I had before, they're gone. And if any of them come back, I know it's because I'm eating something that's not healthy and I have to remove it. And now because I do live a healthy lifestyle, I know what that is. If I'm eating too many chips, I know, ooh, my body's feeling this way. So I'm eating too much chips. Oh, I need to stop eating chips. So I do that. So you have to learn to listen to your body. I highly suggest too that you guys work with, along with your thyroid doctor, that you work with a nutritionist, because that was super important. Especially since I didn't know too much about nutrition, it really helped to help somebody who knew about it and was able to guide my body in a way that was healthier. However, I do want to say that you are in charge of your body. So if ever any of these practitioners or doctors tell you to do something that does not feel right to you, you have a right to say no. If you go to a doctor and they tell you, oh, we need to remove your thyroid and you need to take these pills, like without them even actually doing any research or any testing, you might want to look at that and ask why they want you to do that, because there actually might be a chance that you can heal yourself from this and stabilize it. When you heal yourself, it's not really about healing yourself. It's more about stabilizing your thyroid. Your thyroid gets unstabilized when you don't treat it well. If you treat it well, it stabilizes again. And for those that are taking medication for this, I still suggest that you try some of these tips, because it might actually help you so you don't have to take that much medication anymore. The next video I'm gonna make is going to be about healing the mental and the emotional body, because that was also important in this healing. So this is all I have for now. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.